We have Juan and Lorenzo joining us from Untitled today to talk about their new single "Say It Again," as well as the breakout success of their single "Restless," and really becoming one of the most talked about rock bands right now. So, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having us. Yeah.
I guess let's start at the beginning because Untitled feels like one of those bands that suddenly everybody's talking about them, but there's still a lot of mystery around the project. Can you take us back to the beginning, where the roots of the project started, and how Untitled first took shape?
Juan, would you like to do the honors?
Sure. We're all high school friends. Um, Originally, I was a member of the band. James, who's our guitarist, used to play bass. They all met through music class, and they realized they had the same taste in music. And Danny, who's our lead singer, had been wanting to start a band for a while, and just kind of sort of put Lorenzo and James together, and they started jamming in the garage for a while. Um, Due to a music class, they got the opportunity to play at a show at school. It's like for a spring festival, and they realized they needed a bassist, and I was already in another band with Lorenzo, and they were like, "Can you play with us?" And I said, "Sure." And that was the first time we played together. The name Untitled actually comes from Danny not being able to figure out what to put down for the show.
So is that this sort of spontaneous, like we don't have a band name, but we need a band name for a flyer?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we got
Lorenzo,
around
do
it.
you remember what it was like for you, like the first time you connected with the guys?
It's well, to me, it seems like it was a while ago. It was only like a couple of years, but I don't know. I have like the worst memory on the planet, so it's kind of fuzzy. But I do remember one of the first things that me and Danny did was like we traded, like we looked at each other's Spotify playlists, and we have like 90% of the same bands on there. And so we kind of like from there it was just like immediately we were locked in. Um but yeah, and then James, I've known James for a while, and Juan too. Known him since like middle school even. But overall we all just kind of gravitated towards each other because we all listen to alternative music, and especially with Danny, it's just something that like flows out of us. It's like we just get together and we make noise, and that's like our whole thing. Yeah.
You mentioned the alternative side, there's definitely like a raw sort of '90s alternative energy to your sound. Was that sort of intentional from the start? Did it just naturally happen when you started writing together, or how did that come about?
I
Danny
think
just
that
wanted to play heavy stuff.
yeah, we just like loud things, and you know what what better than to just make it yourself and just turn everything to 11, you know. Yeah.
That old Spinal Tap method. I'm curious about your musical influences, though. Like you mentioned, finding musical chemistry on Spotify playlists. So what were you guys rocking, and that you established common ground on?
Um I mean, the classics like Nirvana and Soundgarden. Like you can't go wrong with those two. They're like the two titans of the 90s. Um, but also this newer band from Austin, Texas. They're called Sap. Um, and their newer material is really, really cool. They just released an album called Erasure. I'm gonna shamelessly plug them here. But yeah, their sound is one of the things that really like inspired me to start playing the drums as hard as I could. And yeah, we saw that we each had their song, I think it was Kiss My Kitty Cat or Trash Man, on our Spotify's, and we were just like, wait, you know them? And it was raps from there, you know.
But what about you, Juan? You're rocking the Beatles shirt, so I gotta
Of
ask.
course. The Beatles as a fundamental for everything rock, I think. I'm a huge Radiohead fan. I I take a lot of inspiration from Carl Greenwood, their bassist. And he's clinically underrated as a bassist. Um, I think Soundgarden has recently been a huge inspiration in the way I compose some of the songs or the way I play. Um, Sap, like Lorenzo said, of course. There's this other band called Visitor Coach, and they're awesome. I think their sound has inspired us as well. I think those are like predominantly my biggest inspirations right now.
So let's talk about the single because you really only have two songs out so far. Obviously, you have more material on the horizon, but "Restless" was the first track you guys dropped, and sort of immediately exploded in a massive way, racking up more than 40 million streams, which is insane when you think about it. For a relatively new band. When you first wrote that song, did you have any sense that it would connect with people this quickly and this deeply?
I mean, it's all a blur, you know. I didn't expect people to cling on to it, but I can't say that like it's a total surprise. I mean, it's basically just one big cliche, the song, because it goes where you expect it to go, and that's what makes it feel good. It's like, you know, a lot of people have compared us to Weezer, but they do the same thing, you know, like they just make things that are memorable because it does what you need it to do, you know.
I mean, I didn't expect people to take this song so dearly. I didn't. I some we've gotten comments of people who learn how to play the guitar through learning the song, and that has made me really really happy. And I did not expect to reach any sort of this audience at all, and we're really grateful for it too.
That's got to be super rewarding to know that like your song inspired somebody to want to pick up a musical instrument and create on their own.
I mean, as an artist, that's all you want them to do, right? We we make music not only because we have an innate need to create or to follow through with what we believe is our passion, but because I feel like at least me, I have a wish to inspire other people to do the same thing. To art is standing up for yourself and for what you believe, and I think there's few things more beautiful than that.
Take it back for a second. If the song comes out, was there a specific moment when it hit that you realized that it sort of grown into something bigger?
um I think it was like a couple days after the song had released, and all of us by that point I think had already like downloaded Spotify for Artists onto our phones, and we were just checking it constantly. And I think I was in class at SMC, um and I'm on my phone all sneaky like, because you know I'm in class, and I look at it and it says that we're at 100,000 streams, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm dropping out. And
It happened that quick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just wanted to get out of there. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, that was the real moment for me because I did not think that it was gonna do anything like it did. You know, it just keeps surprising me. Honestly.
One was there home for you.
I think it hasn't 100% setting yet. It's like ever since it's been a mixture of excitement and at the same time like is this real? Like, is this my life right now? And I think we when we reached like around 50K listeners, which was like after 1 week, uh, I felt like we made it. Like that's it. That's as far as it's gonna get. And seeing how seeing where we are right now, I just can't believe it.
So
Definitely a trip.
Most bands spend years grinding it out in clubs, like trying to, earn an audience. And you guys are any like immediate opportunities at the gate. One of your first shows was opening for the legendary Sublime. What was that experience like, stepping onto that stage so big, like a stage that big so early in your journey?
I mean, it's really hard to find words to just describe the feeling of playing that show, and just in general of you know how fast things have happened. Uh, you know, I really, I really wish I could describe it, but I'm kind of lost. You want?
I was just really really nervous. I remember I was feeling sick to my stomach right before we got up on stage, which is like a has been a tendency for me for the past couple shows. And we got up there and my brain just went blank, and I one moment I was getting on stage and the other I was already done with this with the playing. Um, but right after I got down and we saw the other bands play, I was an insane sense of gratefulness and like wow, like I'm I'm doing this for a living. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
And you had some heavy hitters on that bill, like Slightly Stupid, Sublime, Monkey Stuff All Stars, like Co-Defendants are amazing live. So did you get a chance to check out any of the other bands on that bill? Any that stand out for you?
I mean, we were playing on a stage that was like on the opposite side of the festival, and we were in that area for the majority of the other sets, but we did get a chance, like when we went to go eat, to listen in on what the other bands were playing. It was fucking awesome.
I I I was there for a couple minutes for I think for Dependence, and it's mesmerizing. It was huge. Like that's the only words I have to describe it.
Yeah, they definitely can control an audience, and like they have that. There's just like a forensic sort of energy to them. So let's get into the latest single, "Say It Again." The second single comes out on the heels of the first success of the first one, and with this one, you're getting the sort of press accolades that come with it. Vice, Enemy, BBC, Kerrang. They're all jumping on board with this sort of nostalgic meets modern sound. What's it been like, with that wave of attention from your perspective?
I mean, it's all on the internet, so is it even real? You know, it doesn't change the fact that we wake up in the same houses that we've been waking up in, and that we eat the same breakfast in the same chairs every day. Um, so if it's positive or negative, it doesn't really, you know, affect me. I can't speak for the rest of the guys, but I just kind of live my life. I'm more excited on like, getting to the album and touring and seeing real people face to face and like, I don't know, playing the role of the bard or something.
That's a great way to look at it, because there's so many people that get like trapped in that. What does the internet feel? And like you have a whole subculture of like keyboard warriors that that you have to deal with. So, but it's not real life. Those people are not gonna say the same thing that they'd say on the internet to your face.
Not at all. I think Zane from Sunburn said it best. He said, "Take everything through first-hand experience." You know, if you're going to shows and people are enjoying your music, if you're meeting people from the industry and they're fans of your sound, that's all you really need. And there will always be someone who thinks that what you're doing is stupid, that you are stupid, and then it's not worth their time. But they will still spend time to tell you all of that, you know. And like Lorenzo said, we all keep it small. We play in the same garage we've been playing for in the past 2 years. It's been fun.
You mentioned Zane from Strange Case. He's in the touring lineup for Sublime. It's been cool from to sort of watch that guy in the musical evolution like that Zane's had, and then working with John Joseph, co-writing with Sublime and stuff. What's that experience been like? And working with him, because I know he's been working with you guys in the studio. So is Jacob. So what's that experience been like for you?
There are big brothers.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. They're the kindest, some of the funniest people I know, and outside of them being amazing people, they're extremely knowledgeable about structure, production, and it more than anything, it's been informative, fun. I think they're they're getting the best out of us, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
And like getting to know Jacob a little bit, but like he's one of the most down to earth, like coolest people. You sometimes forget, like when you're talking to him, that he's the front man of such an iconic band.
100%, yeah. Humility really shows.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like they're exactly like us, just like a couple years older.
Accomplished.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, it's like an interesting insight on hopefully where we'll be, in a couple of years. Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
But you have somebody like in your corner, sort of showing you the ropes, so to speak. Teaching you, because there's a lot of bands that like, with even your accolades now would be they'd immediately let it go to their heads. So, well, cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
But sometimes it happens to some of us, with like certain little things that we do, and then because we're all four friends, we we put each other down whenever that happens. It's like a system of checks.
Yeah, checks and balances, like how the government's supposed to work.
So, what can you tell us about the next single, "Nothing Good," that's on the horizon?
It lives up to the name.
Way to sell it.
Yeah.
That's how we're pitching it. It's, in my opinion, one of the songs that we've wrote so far that gets me the most excited when it comes to talking about it, playing it. When we even made it, we were preparing for a show. We have a tendency to set ourselves a goal to finish a song whenever we have a show coming up because that helps beat procrastination. And we were preparing for a show in Corona, and Danny came to us with this riff that was the same thing the whole way through. And we're like, that's really cool. Let's make it into something. And for I think it took us like 2 or 3 days to get it to where we wanted it, and then we went with it to at least 3 or 4 studios before we actually got a version we enjoyed.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the record. What can we expect from the record? How's that taking shape? What can you tell us about it?
I mean, it's loud, so you
Um,
won't have a shortage of volume. You might have to turn down the stereo. On.
um, it's there's a concept of a record.
Yeah.
We we've been working to finish songs more than create a coherent line of work, but somehow in the process we've been making songs that sound unique to ourselves and stand up to what we think it's getting closer to what we would like to sound like. Um, I couldn't tell you much more because there really isn't. But I'm excited to see where we'll take this project after we are done with these songs.
Yeah.
I think you have to sort of stay true to yourselves and make art for yourself first before the audience comes into that equation, right?
Right. If you wouldn't listen to your own music, why are you even making it?
Right. Well, I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for the record. I'm excited for the next single, Nothing Good, June 12th. So I appreciate you joining us.
Thank
Thank
you
you for having us.
Yeah.